Erin and Simon with Assets and Arbitrage. We have a great show for you today. More content, cousins, y'all. Today we have Bitcoin Chris. Um, Now, do you care if I just call you Chris, or do you prefer Bitcoin Chris?
You call me whatever you want to call me. I don't.
All right, as long as Chris is okay, right? Because
That's
I'll
right.
forget and just call you Chris.
You're good.
We would love if you just took a few minutes to just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, your platform, your journey, just so audience members who are not familiar with you can get to know a little bit about you. And since we've been doing this, because right, they are content cousins, we think we know everything about them. We always learn something new. So I kind of like the kind of Q&A because you're like, I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know you was in Orlando.
Yeah. Thank you guys first and foremost for having me on. I appreciate you. Like I was telling your husband that I've been on the Gentleman of Crypto, so I've been watching you guys for a long time. I love you guys. You guys are so dope, and you guys content, and you guys provide a lot of value, especially for people, us brown people, right? Brown and people like us in the space, and content creators. So shout out to you guys.
Thank you.
My name is Chris Knight. I'm 34 years old. Born and raised in Orlando, Florida. Been in being. When I first saw Bitcoin, I thought of it like a stock. Wasn't really. I was really financially illiterate back in the day, which most really know too much about finances because we were indoctrinated into the school system and they teach us how to be sheep, right? Right. So I followed Max and Stacy. I learned a lot from Max and Stacy, and since then I really got the good understanding of what Bitcoin really is. And from there, own a couple businesses, and my main thing is to help people out and just make money. So that's my main business, and I'm also doing a little bit of real estate. I'm wholesaling, and then I orange pill the masses, and I talk about Bitcoin every single. So that's pretty much it. Any other questions? I'll be more than happy to answer.
Okay, the feed is a little bit choppy, and I'm not sure if it's on my end or your end. But I just want to make sure everybody's catching everything you're putting down. So
Let me see if I can.
yeah, I can't tell. I can see it looks good on our end, but I just
Let me. I have a VPN on. Let me disconnect.
that might be it. Okay.
It chops it up.
Sometimes it does. But we're sitting closer to the router, so we shouldn't be doing that. That's why I'm like.
Yeah, it might be. Oh, we didn't ask about Chrome.
I did. I sent him a message. I'm gonna ask him when he comes back. And he's choppy. If it was us, we'd be choppy.
Gotcha.
And I wouldn't know. Somebody would have to tell us.
Yeah.
But the power is good. Just sit tight, y'all. We having a little bit of technical difficulties. Technical difficulty Monday.
Yeah, but as we say off the rip, be stacking ounces, stacking satoshis, and whatever other things that you see fit to invest in, right? Because I know we still have traditional investors in the space where a lot of people like to get into the bang stocks, and things like that. They like to find what would you call it?
Blue chip stuff?
Yeah, blue check, FANG, all that, FANG, it's an acronym for you guys, FAANG, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google.
Yeah. All right. So Bitcoin Chris is back. I'm hoping this
Sorry
is a
about that.
little bit better.
All right.
We're going to test drive it.
That's right.
So before we really get into it with Bitcoin Chris, I do have a little bit of it's conspiracy. It's not theory anymore. It's just conspiracy. It's all conspiracy now. Hey, Crip Work, thank you so much for joining. Yes, I'm feeling better, y'all. They trying to kill us. I had a respiratory bug, and I needed penicillin,
Penicillin, yeah.
like old school. So I looked a hot mess. There was no way I was going to be able to go live, and I didn't have a voice. My voice is still kind of scratchy, but much, much better.
And shout out to the people who were there. Shout out to Sean Simon,
Yes.
our eldest son. He filled in greatly for her.
Yeah,
And we had a great show with Ruel Black. So shout out to him for doing that. He just popped in and said, "I do it, Dad." And I said, "Let's do it."
And we about to have another amazing show, y'all. We got Bitcoin Chris on.
Yep.
We definitely want to hear your journey. I do want to take you down the rabbit hole real quick,
Absolutely.
right? Because this is what it's all about.
That's right.
So a CIA agent has been doing like TikToks, interviews, and stuff like that. And he's been telling people to do two very interesting things, but good game. He said, right now, you need to make sure you have at least $200 to $300 cash on you at all times in small bills.
Okay.
Not 20s, not hundreds. We're talking singles, fives, maybe tens. Interesting. Why? He said, if this all goes to shit, and for those of you guys who have Alexa, and I don't know if Siri's doing it, because Chat GPT isn't, but Alexa's been giving out information, the home AI has been giving out information that in 2024, there will not be an election because there's going to be an EMP over Kansas City, which is going to kill, just like the movie Leave the World Behind, which is going to kill all the electronics, et cetera, et cetera. And he was saying for bartering purposes, the dollar is going to have value, meaning like small denominations, and obviously the continental United States. If you don't live in the continental United States, small bills in your local currency, especially if you're Canada or us, Mexico. Because that EMP is supposed to go in the middle.
Okay.
He doesn't work for the CIA anymore, obviously, and I just want to see how long he sticks around because he's telling stuff that he probably shouldn't be telling. But I thought that the advice was good advice. He also said constitutional silver, which we always talk about. If you have precious metals, right, you can't get them a kilo bar. Nobody has change for that. There's nothing divisible for that. You want to have constitutional silver so that you can do easy bartering transaction. The second interesting thing he says that you should do, and I'm saying this, I'm laughing because my husband tells the kids this all the time. He said, and I quote, "Stop wearing slides. Grown people, the world's going to shit. You need to have closed toe shoes with shoelaces that tie. When it's jumping off, you don't want to be slip sliding in slides." He said, two, if there's any type of property damage, building collapse, et cetera, the last thing you want is for a stone or something to fall on your toe. You don't want to be running in broken glass. If there's chaos, if there's an emergency, if you need to get somewhere quickly. Ladies, this isn't the time, he said, for heels or to be cute, basically. And young men, put on some damn sneakers. Y'all got 70,000 Jordans, wear them so that if there's an emergency, you can get somewhere quickly, but you can also keep your feet safe. You can keep your loved ones safe if you're responsible for smaller children. If you slip sliding in slides, you ain't get nobody nowhere, right? Left your slide back there, so on and so forth. So
this is, I have to say, this is a tough opening question that you're running now. But,
you ready for it? You said you ready for all the smoke.
Ready.
Okay.
So you're saying that, so you guys, let me make sure I hear the question right. Do you think, you're asking me if I think that's going to happen, or if I agree with what he's saying, or what was?
I believe it's going to happen. I think it's good advice. But because he's talking to the layman about having physical cash on them, right? He's basically saying there's an EMP, you won't be able to get to your Bitcoin. You won't be able to transact using your phone or whatever devices you have. And we are a crypto space. In a kind of world state of emergency, what are some of the things that, what are some of the thoughts and insights that kind of come to you when we talk about these things? Because this should be up for discussion. World War III is, when I say imminent, it's fragile, right? With all of the stuff that's going on. America's been a bully for
Since World War II, since the end of World War II, 1942,
So,
43.
you know, like the movie Sicario, it's a lot of people who ain't feeling us. So, in that kind of mind state, if you wanted to kind of really just kind of be prepared,
Absolutely. I
what
think
are some of your thoughts about that since we are heavy in the crypto space?
absolutely. No, I think that's right on point. And because I saw that movie as well, I was kind of having those thoughts. It's like, yo, what are we going to transact with? And I did see that that guy had what he had $1,000, and that was something
Yep.
able to help his son out because the son was teeth was falling out because of the radiation. So I think that's absolutely correct. And the bartering system, I guess it would be US dollars, but I guess it would be anything else that you would have as well, right? It could be pantry, it could be food items, it could be, lighters, matches, things that the average person probably didn't take time and prepare to have,
Right.
candles, all that good stuff. So I think you guys are right. If the EMP goes off, right? Everything's going down. We won't be able to transact in Bitcoin, but at the same time, I don't like that's a scary thought to have because that's going to be the last thing on our mind is Bitcoin at that point. And I tell talks about, oh, what if the internet goes down? I'm like, well, guess what? The money that we use is already digitized, and in the bank, your bank is digital anyway. You're looking at numbers on the screen anyway. So that's really a moron. Like I'm only like somebody that isn't really thinking correctly, in my opinion, would make that statement because your dollars and you're not going to be able to transact using your money anyway, right? Because we all use debit cards and money's already digital, so it's going to apply for your dollar too. However, a lot of people don't understand that you can still transact with Bitcoin via text, right? So some people don't know that, right? So maybe that's something that can happen in the future, where maybe the internet does go down and we can still transact via text. And America has been a bully for a long time, and every time I see a new country that joins BRICS,
Man,
I'm tweeting like, "Yo, America, y'all been bullying everybody. Now everybody's about to team up against you." And it could take time to see what's going to happen, but at the end of the day, what I think is going to happen is, again, Americans are super spoiled, super like we're at a point in history where in the Bible, I read the Bible, I believe in God, and God says that there's going to be everybody that was first is going to be last, and everybody that was last is going to be first. So everybody's been pillaging and stealing from Africa for all these years, especially France is still to this day stealing from Africa. Elon Musk and all his company, they steal these they steal all the elements from Africa to
yeah.
make all the electric cars, right? So they take advantage of all that, and I think it's going to be a point in time where all that's going to flip. So I think Americans going to be the last to adopt Bitcoin. If that happens, I've been saying for a long time. That's why I love you guys as well, because you guys are already out of the country. You guys saw it before, majority of the people. I'm not sure if that was the reason why you guys left, besides, the cost of living and you want to raise your children in a better, society.
Yeah.
And just a better upbringing, right? So I don't know if you guys saw that before, but I've been saying for years, I can't wait to move out of the country. America is Rome, in my opinion.
Yes.
And
Babylon.
it's gonna be crazy. It's crazy to even think and have these conversations, but it's great to talk about these things. But it's gonna be crazy. I have no idea what's gonna
This
happen.
is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, Rue, shout out to Rue. Hey Rue. Shout out to Stan. The Colonel is on, Crazy Bonks Don, and I think we already said hello to Crypt Work, so that's good. I just wanted to welcome the people who are joining the room. Rue, yes, I don't know that the internet would ever go down forever, but if the grid goes down, right? So we always talk about life portfolios and being diversified in your life portfolio, but you also want to be diversified in your preparation portfolio, right? Disaster preparedness. We are military members, service members. So disaster preparedness is always one of the priorities we have on our mind. We're a large family. We have emergency protocols in place. We got battle buddies. You're only responsible for one person. Don't lose that one person. Obviously, my oldest is in charge of the baby, right? And then the two middle ones are in charge of each other, and then Simon and I are battle buddies. So in an emergency, everybody knows what to do. They know where to go. They know what to have. You're stocking in advance. But I would still like to take the gentleman's advice on You know, next time you go to the bank, and this is also about delayed gratification. You have $300 in small bills you're not touching for any reason. Right? You're not going to get a tall can of beer with it. You're not going to get a couple ounces with it, right? This is emergency preparedness in case something happens.
That was a shot at me.
I'm being serious.
I'm not gonna go get a beer.
You haven't drank a tall can
in many
like
years,
5 or 6 years.
yeah.
But no, I'm serious though, right? Little things.
Absolutely.
Tall can of beer is probably $2-3 now, but it used to be 99 cents. But you're not dibbling and dabbling into that, right? It's part of your emergency preparedness kit.
Yes.
Right? I also would agree with him that we probably should be, women, you can be cute and choose that tie up. So if you have to run, if you have to defend yourself, you cannot defend yourself in heels. You got to take your heels off in order to fight. And maybe you could use it as a weapon, but, right? I think he's got a good, and especially with all of the chaos that's happening, it's a good idea to just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. And he's going around, he's doing this TikTok tour is what I call it. Advice for all of us. I know there's a small part of our community who thinks cash is trash until you don't have access to a device and you need the cash to barter a very necessary transaction. We have to understand that everything has a utility.
Okay, I'm with that. And I'll just round it off. We've had a guest on our show. His name is Andy Shackman. He's the CEO of Miles Franklin. And one of the things he says is, as us as United States citizens, we should have $5,000 in cash in reserve, like physical cash in our home, just in case things happen when you have bank runs and stuff like that. What do you think about that? Having cash on deck, is what I call it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you should have cash. I mean, 5,000. I think that's a substantial amount. Well, after inflation, probably not. Right? It's probably
Right.
Maybe 500.
Inflation is probably 1,500, but it's absolutely right. You just want to be prepared, right? It's like you guys are saying, it's insurance just in case, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen, but you want to have that just in case. And like you were saying, you want to have something just in case so you can barter. And if you need to buy something or need to take care, just like in the movie, right? Something happens, you don't have anything else to transact with. If he didn't have that $1,000 to give to that guy, he wouldn't have been able to help and help his son out with his teeth falling out. So you want to be prepared. And I believe that they have these movies and they teach us and they show us these things because they know these things will pass. It's just a matter of when, in my opinion.
So I do have one more question because people in the chat are asking, do you have specific details or instructions on utilizing text message for Bitcoin transactions?
There's it's actually because in Africa they always they don't have access to the internet. What I'll do is after the stream I'll tweet. There's a Twitter handle and there's a whole community of people that have that and utilize it and that way. I'm not 100%. I don't want to speak about it because I'm not 100% aware of it, but I am aware that you are able to transact for sure 100% via text message. So what I'll do is I'll leave a tweet if you guys follow me, and I'll send you guys the tweet and the account as well, because they have to transact because a lot of people in Africa don't have internet, so they figured out a way. Because when you're desperate and you live in Africa and you don't have the resources that we have, and again, Americans are spoiled rotten, right? So we have the luxury of having high-speed internet, we have the luxury of running water, we have the luxury of electricity, right? And plumbing. In these countries, they don't have that luxury, so they're more apt to innovate and to create solutions for their problems. So they solve that problem, and I'll make sure to share that information when I get a chance.
And when we get information like this, it's all of our responsibility to do our due diligence and get the most information we can from it. We just learned something new today. I did not know that there was that ability. So we're definitely going to do our due diligence. We'll absolutely get the information and talk about it on a future show, but it's also your responsibility in the chat and those of you watching to kind of do some due diligence as well, because you may learn something that we didn't come across that we can share as a community.
Yeah, and just what you were talking about with Africa, So I'm gonna go right. What are the payments called?
The remittance.
Remittance payments. That is something that's big with Bitcoin because we see it here in Mexico, but I've also came across people and talked to people in Nigeria, Ghana, and the remittance payments and taking away those fees from like Western Union and what's the other one, the red one?
MoneyGram, Western Union,
MoneyGram,
and there's a
yeah.
third one.
So do you see that as as something that use case and utility for Bitcoin as far as remittance payments?
Absolutely. I have a couple businesses, and one of my businesses, well, I teach financial literacy and I help people with their personal credit so they can get their house or their car, or if they want to start a business, I help them get capital, anywhere between $50 to $200,000 in business credit. So,
It's Jake.
What's he talking about? My
He
bad.
said Bitcoin Chris got that. I can't even say it. Baccarat Rouge 451 candle lit.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there we go.
Thank you.
shout out to Jake. But some of my VAs, they're in the Philippines, right? And so, I use Remitly for some of them, and some of them I say, hey, I can give you Bitcoin, and that'll be much better. I don't have to pay any fees. You get the money instantly, and some of them like that instead. Some people prefer Remitly, and some people do prefer Bitcoin, and it doesn't matter where you are on the planet, right? We can send it to anybody, anywhere, doesn't matter, and as long as you have an address, I can send you and send remittances across borders. So absolutely, it's only the beginning. And again, if you're not doing international transactions, or if you're not, a business owner who outsources your work overseas to, cut back on cost, then you're not really, privy to these types of technologies, or you don't really care about it because you don't need to care about it, right? But other people in other countries don't have that privilege, so they have to pay those high fees with Western Union, or if Americans are sending money to Mexico or wherever their family members are from, they do have large fees. So they can definitely eliminate all that if they just switch to the Bitcoin standard. But it's a learning curve, and I think eventually we will be more people will utilize that.
Well,
Oh, go ahead, babe.
well, I was gonna say I'm not familiar with Africa as much, but in our own experience here in Mexico, you see the remittance payments being sent, whether it's through U.S. dollars or Bitcoin, and it's being sent to, I would say, older individuals
Much older, so
who
they
don't understand the technology on their end, and I don't know if it has to cycle out so you get younger people,
a new generation.
yeah, newer generation, because we have on many occasions had to help maybe older woman at the ATM.
Yeah.
Just
Not just at the ATM, but even at the customer service counter trying to receive her
Receive her
MoneyGram
money,
or
yeah.
Western Union, even though there's somebody who works there. But I know the new thing too is at the tech company I used to work at, they used to use TransferWise in order to pay the contractors from the Philippines.
Yeah.
Because you had brought up Remitly, and I said, I remember they didn't use that. I don't remember why. Maybe they couldn't. But the company used
I
TransferWise.
remember transfer.
And my girlfriend, her husband is from Africa.
You got a girlfriend?
You know what I mean when I say
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just being funny.
her husband lives in Africa. And hubby gave her the longest lecture ever. There was a point, it's about 3, 4, 5 years ago, I don't know if you remember, where they stopped, you couldn't send a remittance payment through Western Union or MoneyGram to Nigeria. And that's where he was from. So Simon was trying to tell her about Bitcoin, get you a wallet, get him a wallet. We'll get y'all started just so y'all can do the transactions. And she wasn't comfortable. He didn't even know what we were talking about at the time. But they're also like preventing remittance payments due to like scams and stuff like that in certain areas in certain parts of the world. So here in Mexico, Lori Bitcoin, which you guys should be familiar with, she's been on our show several times.
Yeah.
She's really been taking Mexico City by storm. She's been working, I cannot remember the gentleman's name, but she's been working heavy in conjunction, I want to say his name's Pablo, but
Yeah.
in southern Mexico, like the Pueblas, the little areas, the little towns, like how we live, where they don't even use debit cards, much less understand the idea of Bitcoin.
Yeah, because these people are unbanked.
Yes,
They're
heavily.
unbanked, and that's one of the big things that she goes into about being unbanked. Um, as far as Bitcoin, uh, do you, as far as unbanked people, do
Do
you
you
deal
deal a
with
lot
them?
with
You
them,
deal with them,
with your
or
businesses?
Yeah, because some of these people have made mistakes in the past, and there's this thing called check systems here in the United States where they
Oh yeah.
some got bad record with the banks.
yeah,
Nobody you. So I don't really teach them about Bitcoin because first when I first dove into Bitcoin, I learned it taught me a lot about money. So a lot of us don't know anything about money in the United States or just in general. So once I learned about money, once I learned about Bitcoin, it helped me to understand money. But I feel like I'm a little bit more advanced than most people. So I think it would be the opposite for most of my clients. They need to understand money first, and then they could understand Bitcoin. Also, with what you guys were saying with the owner generation, right? It's kind of like how we have to teach our mom and dad, like how I had to teach my mom and dad how to text when texting first came out.
yeah, we did. Then we had to do that.
Came out. So I think the younger generation will be, spearheading this, but they'll be the ones to teach their parents. And as we get more, advanced and more developers come on board with Bitcoin, they'll be able to make it a much more seamless process. And it's already, it's already getting there with Lightning Network, and it's already seamless, right? You just need to download a wallet, have 24 words. It's pretty simple. So people that don't take the initiative to learn it, I think it's just ignorance at the end of the day, because it's really not difficult at all. And I think it's just going to be at their demise, right? And once they get to a point where they're tired of suffering, tired of being manipulated and being abused, because in America we love being abused by the banks with overdraft fees, credit scores, high interest,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
redlining for black people, all the things that they done to us, right? And we should be the first to be adopting Bitcoin, but it seems like not a lot of us in the community are privy to this information. One, because I say this all the time, a lot of us are buying, you said it earlier, we have 70 Jordans and no Bitcoin. Like, that's ass backwards. Like,
Yeah.
you need to have 70 Bitcoin and no Jordans.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Sell your Jordans to buy some Bitcoin, because in the future you can buy as many Jordans as you want and you don't have
Yeah.
to worry about it. But delayed gratification is something that we weren't taught. Money is not something that we're taught. And that's why I'm on the mission that I'm on, is to orange pill as many people as I can. And I orange pill everybody, right? And it's not really about, I don't really, I believe that we're all human, right? We have different races and different cultures, of course, but we're all one race, the human race. And
Okay.
Black people, I love my people, but I'm here to help everybody out, so.
Agreed. I agree with that. So Hyben17 said, and this is interesting because it's so freaking true.
Okay.
Today, I told my coworkers how to get $9 in free Bitcoin using Coinbase. None of them did it. They don't even want the free Bitcoin. They don't want to buy it. They don't want it for free. I'm having that struggle. Bitcoin Zay introduced me to S Miles because
I watched that.
talk about 20,000. I walk 20,000 plus steps a day, y'all. So over 100,000 steps by like Thursday, not to mention Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I, on average, earn about 23 to 25 free sats per day, right? Because how the app works is the more activity that
Yeah.
you do during the day. So like, for instance, I have a sit down remote position. So for the last 10 minutes of every hour, I get up and I run in place. So those for 10 minutes. So that burst of energy, you get 2-3 sats. You do that 8, 9, 10 times a day. You get about 23 to 25 sats per day.
Yeah.
They don't make you work for it, but it's free.
It's free, and
You wanna walk
And
in?
you were going to do that
Anyway.
anyway.
Yeah.
and it's good sats for me. So when I'm just here by myself, I got all these sats stacked up. No, I'm joking.
I'm gonna hide my sats from him.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll hide her sats from me.
No, but as we're talking about it on that episode, it's like, people don't. Again, it's just people don't have. They have such a short time preference, right? And once you understand that Bitcoin is going to be the currency in the future, and if you guys have a delayed gratification and you understand what the technology really holds. And just think about it. Hey, when one sat equals $1, then I'll have, just say you have 1,000,000 Satoshis, then you have $1,000,000 in US dollar term. But, I listen to Jeff Booth all the time, and Jeff Booth is always talking about, how we're supposed to live in a deflationary, a free market. And with the technology that we have, everything is supposed to be everything's supposed to be cheaper, right? Over time because of technology. But we live in a system where, they have to steal your money through inflation. So we don't really see that, right? And they do it so nonchalant, right? We're like the crabs in the bucket. Not the crabs. What is it, the frogs in the barrel, or frogs in the
No, yeah, the crabs in the barrel, they drag you down.
they
Like
drag them down, turn up the heat slowly on the frogs, so they don't know that they're gonna die because they're turning slowly. But the heat is cooking. So
can I ask you, because you just mentioned Jeff Booth? I follow Jeff Booth, and we talked about this the other day. We were talking about, I guess, sat to dollar parity. When it gets to the point when one sat is $1, and like what you said, when do you see that happening?
I want it to happen sooner than later, but I do understand the ramifications of that.
Yeah.
I do understand. Now, I'm actually kind of split in between that it's going to be I'm kind of split between it's the deterioration, and we already know that the dollar is going down in value anyway, right? But
Yeah.
I'm kind of split between the amount and the massive amount of capital that's coming in via BlackRock, via ETFs, via corporations, via countries, via everyday people, right? So between that and versus the valuation of the dollar, I think it'll probably be a mix of both. I'm what is it? $100 million Bitcoin is one is.
Yeah. So we're like, hey.
What happened to the dollar?
But like, I mean, if it's gonna have dollar parity, every dollar that, like she said, walking, um, Bitcoin Zay said in his book he knows 33 different ways to earn Bitcoin. Whether it's using some kind of rewards card, walking. He mentioned some other things, and it's just, he was saying earn Bitcoin by doing things that you would do anyway, right? You go to, I think he mentioned Starbucks, didn't he?
Yeah, I just want to show them because people are asking what the app looks like, and I think we had that. Ooh, I just earned a set. Hey.
There she goes. It's $1.
Okay, so I'm trying to show y'all real quick. I just earned a set. I earned 4 because I've been moving today. But S Miles, it looks like this. So you see that blue dollar sign? For those of you who are trying to figure out what the app looks like, that's what it looks like in Google Play. I do have an Android. I don't know if that affects the way it looks.
It's like a blue Cash App.
Yeah, it looks like Blue Cash App. And for those of you who are extremely like Cash App heavy, it will throw you off because it was starting to throw me off. It tells you what today's activities is, this week, this month. It gives you your balance. We just started the other day, so you guys can see we're not making it up. It's like showing y'all my poor checking account. But you know what? It's 107 apps I didn't have to buy or dollar cost average into. So,
Yeah, this is a really good app.
but you do need, I don't know about baby, I don't know about the iPhone users, but definitely for the Android users, you do need Google Fit for it to work. So it takes the steps from Google Fit, and it's not a real-time pedometer. So it's gonna refresh every so often. They're going to make you earn your sats. When I'm at 22,000 steps on my watch, I'm at like 16,000 steps on my phone.
Yeah.
So they're really making you earn it.
So let me ask you, Bitcoin Chris, sir.
Yes, sir.
As far as what you're talking about with the Bitcoin, what do you see as far as education? Because we're big on education.
Yeah.
Do you have a platform or something where you educate, or is you just kind of just talk to who you can?
Your clients, your consults. Tell us a little bit about it.
I'm gonna be creating a Discord, and I'm gonna probably be doing like a mastermind or a university where I can get people, community of of Bitcoiners, and I'm actually going to be throwing a party in July. Hopefully, that's the plan. Is to throw a party in July to not only just to get normal people in it, but to bring the Bitcoiners and the normal people together so we can all have fun at a party, right? Talk about Bitcoin
Yeah.
and get together with people because the Bitcoin parties is really just for Bitcoiners, right? Bitcoin conferences. A lot of
Yeah.
people that are not. We already know about Bitcoin, right? So we need to get to the people that don't know about Bitcoin. But before we got on live, I was telling you that I was on Clubhouse for 2 years straight from 2020 to 2022 when Bitcoin went from 3,000. Well, I think I got on probably, I don't remember when I got on, but Bitcoin went from 3,000 to 69,000, and during that time frame, I was on Clubhouse every single day. Didn't even sleep. Was helping and got so many. I got on Swan. They changed it now, but on Swan, I got over five. It's probably over $1 million worth of people bought Bitcoin through my link. Over $1 million purchased through my link on Swan alone. Because I was on Clubhouse every single day, enrolling new people from all over the planet: Egypt, Barcelona, Spain, everywhere, Morocco, and so many different people will come in, and we would, we hold the stage, right, and everybody comes back to their questions, and so I think that's the way I did, communicate and help people get, orange pilled. But right now, again, I was telling you that I took a hiatus because I was burnt out doing that every day for answering the same wallet questions, answering the same questions every single day in and out for 2 years. It really burnt me out. But I'm going to create a university where I can record, the answers and, put it all online, right? Record it one time, and that way I don't got to say it anymore, right? And then go through
So
and
let me ask you a question then, because we come into this question, so I always ask people, would you consider yourself a Bitcoin maximalist?
oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
that's
Maxie.
Yeah, I
then
got
that's
Bitcoin.
that. That's that.
Yeah,
Is
I'm
that a
Bitcoin.
tattoo?
Yeah,
You got it. Oh wow.
Oh, you a Maxie for real. So we
yeah.
not that hardcore.
I knew it.
I don't have no tattoos.
Yeah, I knew a dude, man. He had a Wu-Tang tattoo, but so I see the big tattoo. I see. Yeah.
He
Yeah,
got
I'm
the
a Bitcoin maxi because I
Wu-Tang
and
face.
that
on his face.
Yeah, like the W right
Oh,
here.
I didn't know
big
that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah.
So you out there. You out there. Okay,
Yeah,
well.
okay, man, I'm all the way in. Once you find out the truth, it's hard to ignore the truth, and it's hard to turn back to the system that steals from you and neglects you and robs you every day, right? Why would you want to be a
Yeah.
part of the system when there's something better? And I hopefully by my conviction I can help other people. I've orange pilled thousands, right? And hopefully thousands and hundreds of thousands more in the future. But my conviction is just proof of my understanding, right? And the more you understand Bitcoin, the more of your investment or your allocation will be to Bitcoin, right? So when I was in Mexico, because I was during COVID, I was traveling, right? They was telling you
Yeah.
to take the COVID shot. I ain't take the COVID shot. They told you not to travel. I was traveling. I was in Mexico. I was outside.
Traveling too.
I was outside with it. So when I was in Mexico, and I was looking at my Bitcoin price and I was looking at the conversion to pesos. I'm like, man, you know how much I slave for? And a slave is we all slave here in America, right? You guys know, you guys used to live here. And then when you go to Mexico, even the dollar, so the dollar to Mexican peso is 20, is it 1920? I know it's been fluctuated from 19 to 20, or
Yeah.
I don't know how much $1 is anymore. How much is $1? You guys know?
17,
17.
unfortunately.
1726.
Yeah,
Um,
she checks it
Stay on
every
it every
day.
day.
okay, yeah. When I was there, it was about $20 for every $1.
Back then,
20,
yeah, it was close to 24.
It got to 25 at one time,
Yeah.
but it didn't last long.
Oh,
yeah, it didn't last long.
party over.
So when I was in Mexico, I was like, all right, $1 equals 20 pesos. And then I was like, well, you know what? Let me look at how much one Bitcoin is in pesos. And I was like,
Yeah.
Man, that number is so long.
Well, no, because it was some point it was over 1 million.
it was.
I don't know. I think 21 made it over 1 million.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying and I tell people that because I said, if you are going to have an arbitrage and you're in different currency, don't look at Bitcoin and USD. Look at Bitcoin to the currency that you have to use.
Yeah.
And that was but that was the thing we was talking about. Nobody cared.
Yeah, because so like Mexico City is Mexico City. It's the alien, right, inside of this very normal place. So let's put it that way.
How is it?
And because they
It's
are
New
more,
York City.
it's New York City circa 1990 for my New Yorkers, right? Maybe a little bit of late 80s, early 90s New York City. But they are significantly technologically advanced
Yeah.
in relation to the rest of the country.
Mhm.
And Americans, it's typically Americans who don't travel, don't understand how large Mexico is. They feel like when they fly to Mexico that I could just drive around the corner and just kind of like meet them. And I'm like, no, that's like you living in New York and I flew into California and said, hey, meet me at the airport.
Yeah.
So with that being said, when he talks about the unbanked, not just the unbanked, but education is a significant issue here. Even going to the ATM, he was telling you that it is not uncommon for an older, typically Mexican woman, to be like, Mija, ven aquí, ven aquí. She needs help at the ATM. She doesn't mind giving me her PIN number as long as I can get the transaction done for her.
Yeah.
Right? I do it more often than I feel like I should, but you have to keep in mind, we look like aliens in this place. So the fact that you feel comfortable enough to ask a complete stranger, hey, I need to get some money out the ATM, they can't read the prompts,
My question is, what would they do if you weren't there?
ask someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how they get by. It's never the same person when they're asking me, right? So I just bring that up because it's an extremely common occurrence. And Simon and I are often, kind of going back and forth. I'm gonna mention it to you, but I was like, there's no way in hell a Market of Beast is gonna make it to Ishawaka because we don't even have Uber, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But with that being said, at the same time, the country doesn't have the passion for its people like El Salvador does.
Mm.
When we went to El Salvador, and you probably watched these shows, but for the people who haven't heard the story, when we went to El Salvador, one of the things that I was most impressed with, because I was trying to see like, how y'all gonna pull this off, is the implementation of education. Whether you have a second grade education
Okay.
or you have 2 master degrees from the university of whatever, everybody was getting educated on how to use, it was the Chivo wallet, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Right? How to use the Chivo wallet.
I think
What is
Chivo-
Bitcoin?
Yeah,
How
Chivo.
does Bitcoin work? How is it gonna benefit you as a person? Like getting right to the nitty gritty,
Mm-hmm.
right? Getting rid of all of the technical
Jargon.
fluff is
Yeah.
what I'm gonna call it, that
Yeah.
the average layperson doesn't give a crap about.
Yeah.
What's in it for me is what they were getting right to. And I said, it's Spanish. If we could figure out a way to adopt what they're doing in our country, well, Mexico, not our country, but the country that we live in, that would be life-changing for Mexico.
Yeah.
But the difference is that we're talking not just the president, but the administration and all. Mexico don't give a shit about none of that.
Yeah.
Right? They don't give a shit about none of that.
Yeah, they don't
So-
want the people to have that freedom, because with that freedom comes lack of control. And if they can control you, then they're gonna lose their power, and that system is probably gonna crumble at that point. So I think in time it will happen. Unfortunately, it'll probably take a lot longer as well for those cities, and again, U.S. and major probably developed countries, right, or just people that are just older population as well. But
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying, I think it's just gonna. I don't think they're gonna allow that. And the countries that do, like El Salvador and possibly Argentina, they're gonna be in countries in Africa. They're gonna be first place. First mover advantage.
And we're hoping that as, what do you call it? You call it, when somebody does something and then everybody else has the fear of missing out, so they get on board and do it too.
Game theory.
Game theory. So as game theory takes more of a significant, or makes more of a significant impact in the Latin Americas, Simon and I are sitting here and watching like, Mexico, y'all supposed to be the big dogs of Latin America. Like, you're letting smaller countries outpace you. What's going on? But it's just like the U.S. You would think the U.S. would have a significant amount more mass adoption with all the techies that work there, with all of the technology we have. Now, granted, we're not Tokyo, but you would just think that mass adoption, I'm actually disappointed in it. I ask probably on every show, what do you think about where mass adoption is and where it actually should be as of February 5th, 2024?
I want to just, on top of that question, because you got all these people when you see moving to the BRICS
Yep.
and the BRICS Plus, and then you kind of, United States is kind of still in the G7. So like people got to start making decisions. Where are we gonna go, and how are we gonna be?
Jake is a nut.
You take your Bob in this
He
again?
said, my heart used to be good like y'all. Now my motto is every man for theyself and God for everybody. Jake is a nut. But he's got a point because we do get, I call it burnout. I call it Bitcoin burnout. When you go to talk to somebody and they say, well, what exactly is it?
You just be like, man, I gotta walk away. I gotta walk away. I ain't even gonna talk to you, man, because
And then he leave me there by myself, y'all.
You know, you really have to have that patience, and you know, it really takes a special type of person to be able to have that type of patience and to explain to every single different person, you know, what Bitcoin is. G7 and BRICS. I think BRICS, they're gonna, they're. Oh, you there?
Hey. Oh, did the phone fall?
I can't hear you guys. Give me 1 second. I don't know if that's my phone or.
turned upside down, but it's all good.
It's all right. We've been having tech issues from the beginning.
It's a fight.
Yeah. But there's an agenda to it, too. Yeah, kind of got it.
Give me 1 second. My computer. My phone is acting up.
You talk to the people in the room.
Let me reset.
He said you flip upside down. We know. Jake and his observations.
Come on, Jake, man. Jake Fever, we went to the cam up, man. We have a good spirited conversation.
As soon as we get Bitcoin Chris right side up, and we're monitoring him, so we can see you, Chris. But as soon as you right side up, he said, yes, it's frustrating. That's how we feel when somebody asks us, what is Bitcoin? We feel like it's turning completely upside down, like, I don't know. I do want to welcome Chloe Dior.
Okay. Yeah. What's up, Chloe? How you doing?
Because I didn't get to, Rue said Mexico was coming up from 20 to 17. Rue, it's a nightmare. Our like 85% discount is like 30%.
Oh, he's talking about, yeah.
I was feeling.
Yeah.
All right, Chris is back.
Yeah.
All right, mic check, 1 2 1 2.
It's tough out here. 17.
I'm not getting any sound
All
from
right,
you.
can you guys hear
There
me?
we go. Yeah, we can hear you.
Can
I
you
do
guys hear
want to
me?
welcome. Yep, we can hear you. No problem. You back. You right side up. Enzo Harder, we want to welcome you to the room. Jake Fever says 1738 is his favorite. Remy Martin, he's getting on us about the dollar to peso ratio.
That's pretty
Did
good.
I miss anybody else? I think I saw Dear Bit, so hello, love. Hyben17 has given us, for you guys in the chat, definitely look at, Hyben gave us a few great ways to get Bitcoin. Nerd Up Inc. said peace.
Peace.
And I think we are all caught up with welcoming people to the room. Yep, I think we're good. All right. Oh, no, we're not good. Chris is gone again. He'll be back. Okay, the Colonel wants us to understand, to explain, I'm sorry, the ramifications of 1 sat to $1 parity. The ramifications will be really bad when the dollar has parity with sats, but the economy.
You want me to go in or no?
It's great if you've been dollar cost averaging and preparing for that moment, but if you are someone who does not have any Bitcoin, life's gonna be real tough.
Well, yeah, so what's going to happen is, so the dollar is down 98.5%. There's a lot of different numbers people have, but what you will see is that if you had a Bitcoin to dollar parity, you're gonna have very high inflation.
Yeah.
And so that's the bad part of it.
It means
And
Bitcoin's $100 million.
so I know a lot of people talk about it, 100, but that's the problem.
It's it would be a grave situation, as exhilarating as that would be for Bitcoiners, when you just kind of step back and take an overview of the rest of humanity, right? Because Bitcoin has ultimate scarcity. It's one of the things that makes it incredible. It's one of the reasons why we get orange pilled, right? And we never go back. But for the rest of humanity, it's a very grave and dire situation. Especially for weaker currencies and obviously the US dollar.
Yeah, weaker currencies, but we're talking about having trade settlements in large amounts of, I guess, dollars. But as you see, the BRICS nation is trying to usurp that. So, there's a lot going on, and it's just something we gotta be on top of.
Yeah, baby.
Yep.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, but now you look like the opening scene of Belly. So
Yeah,
I feel like Tommy gonna walk in the door. No, because Nas was never with. It wasn't blue when Nas was in it.
It was blue, and he had the white eyes or something weird.
Something weird. The opening scene of Belly.
That's showing now. We showing right here.
We are. We old, y'all. And somebody got a birthday coming up. She gonna be 21 again.
That's what they say.
For the 22nd time.
When's your
That's
birthday?
what they say.
Huh?
When's your birthday?
On Saturday.
Saturday. Mine's just the 13th.
Oh, okay. You Aquarius too. Shout out to Aquarius.
Shout out to my Aquarians.
That's right. And my girls is 11.
Trek is Aquarius too, ain't he? Trek with 2 Ks.
I think he is. Yeah.
Shout out to the Aquarian content cousins, right?
Yeah, we think different.
We in shit. We in here.
That's right.
Started from the bottom and we still here, y'all.
Right.
Jake is right though. He said it doesn't have to be gloom and doom. It could be great if the world adopted Bitcoin as the settlement layer of money. I know, but it's just one of those, to me, things that make sense and you're not doing it on purpose. Like, we know that it makes sense. So the fact that you're going above and beyond to not do it. Oh, you making a face about XRP?
Yeah, tell them to call the chief, so y'all can argue. The chief gonna have something else to say about it, but okay.
Shout out to Rue's kids who are also Aquarius. We got another Aquarian downstairs. He turned 16, y'all, on Wednesday.
Shout out to the chief, man. We had to take a shot at him.
He was my birthday gift one year. Every year, I should say. Every year.
Well, he is 16. And he eats a lot of food.
No, he don't eat much at all. Crib work is Aquarius. Look at all these Aquarians. All right, shout out to the Aquarians.
We all find a way to
Acid, arbitrage, and Aquarian.
Are you gonna say
No, I'm not gonna change the name. I'm supposed to be helping him brand this thing. I'm over here changing the name. We didn't pay for it.
I know.
But we just got a few more questions for you, Bitcoin Chris. We respect your time and we're so glad to have you on here.
I'm happy to be on here. I enjoy being on here.
We want to dig into some deeper things that you do, so we definitely want to have you back on the show again. That way we can we wanted to introduce you to the audience, and then we can kind of dig into the part twos. I don't know if Ruel noticed, but since I wasn't there, he got to come back on because I missed it.
Yeah.
So we obligated to come back on. And Ruel and I think alike with the esotericism and the mystical aspect, Bitcoin and zero and stuff like that. But I wanted to ask you, because to me, it complements each other perfectly, right? So your business in really educating in finance, having them understand the fundamentals before getting into how Bitcoin can really change their life. Do you introduce them to Bitcoin? Do you kind of feel them out and you're like, yeah, this ain't a candidate to orange pill at this point while I'm working with him or her? Or just tell me a little bit about that type of experience that you have.
Yeah, a lot of the clients that I'm dealing with are, again, they're financially illiterate. So for the majority, it depends, because there's clients that I deal with that need help building their credit. and there's clients that I help that already have good credit, right? And if they have
Gotcha.
good credit, they usually coming to me for business funding where they want to get 100,000, 50,000 to start their
Large
business.
capital.
Exactly, to get capital. So depending on that type of client is how I'm going to introduce Bitcoin, right? If they have bad credit, bad spending habits, they don't really care about money. They're trying to really get a house or get a home or get a car because that's the only thing on their mind. I was like, I'm not even going to bother them with the Bitcoin right now. I'm going to get them their house, get them their car, help them out in that journey. And then a lot of the clients follow me on Facebook anyway. So they see me talking about it. And, over time, since I've been talking about Bitcoin on Facebook, all my friends, they'll eventually come around, right? They're like, that Bitcoin thing you were talking about, how do I buy that? They'll
The
eventually come
Bitcoin
around.
thing.
Yeah, they'll eventually come around, or they'll send me, I'm about to buy Doge or XRP, and I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm like, oh my God. And I tell them, be careful. I enjoy watching them lose their money at the same time, right? Because I give them the warning. I'm saying, hey, you can buy those coins, you can make money, but majority of the time you're probably going to lose your money because they're, rug pulls, scams. They're just trying to get your dollar. They don't listen.
Especially on Facebook, yeah.
So, all right, because we have to go through this with this the platform that we're not financial advisors. Are you certified as a financial advisor, or do you have the same problems that we have where we have to
Give the
have that
disclaimer out.
disclaimer?
Yeah, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a consultant. I'm just a financial consultant. So that's
Do
all.
you do education with children, or like do you do anything along those lines? Maybe younger people who haven't mucked it up so bad yet, and mama ain't muck it up by using social security numbers to pay the cable bill and stuff like that.
Dang, man, that's old school hood shit, but
It still happens.
he know
A lot
about
of younger people do, like a lot of people, like younger kids do it, like attract to me. My son is 13 and he knows about Bitcoin, about Bitcoin, and he talks to all my friends about it. And he has his own blue wallet, and he has like $500 worth of Bitcoin. He's been watching it go up and down and grow over the years. So he's like super hyped about it.
Yeah.
I haven't really thought about teaching the kids because I cuss a lot, so I'm trying to work on. I have to do a lot of personal growth, and I have to learn how to communicate that the right way. So my niche is really the adults, and the kids that do follow me, they're probably like teenagers, and teenagers here, they hear way worse things that come
Yeah,
my
Yeah.
mouth.
we
But
got 4.
yeah,
Well, the baby, he's a good baby.
yeah,
If you tell him don't say that, he'd be like, "Oh, is that bad?" Yeah, and he don't say that.
yeah,
But the other 3, when they on the basketball court and stuff, they
exactly.
almost slipped and cussed when Dad was playing
Yeah.
with them because they was playing so rough and rugged. My dad looking at them like, "All right now."
Yeah, no, I'm trying actually not to curse anymore, and I'm just trying to,
Jay Fever's the F them kid.
yeah, F them kids. No, the kids are, and
But I like because I may want to now, we're not stepping over the gentleman's vision for the platform, right? So let me put that disclaimer out there. But hubby and I, we really want to do like this great round table, all of the content cousins, figuring out a way where we can come together. I don't know if it's going to be via content that's live, if it's something that we may have to kind of put some production to in order to make it maybe more polished for the audiences. But one of the things that we're sitting and doing as we're talking to people is just the way you talk, you're relatable. We really need to be getting the kids. And because we do homeschool, so we do financial literacy, homeschool, we do a lot of real world application. But you do it, right? For adults and stuff like that. And there may be aspects that we may miss when we're talking to our children because we have absolutely zero debt. So we don't use the credit system. So but I have great credit because when I was in the US, we did pay everything. When we knew what we were doing, we really prepared for it. So my mom gets these credit card offers for us all the time for the business, we don't use credit, but they still should know about it, right? Our kids don't live in a place where they can utilize credit. We have to use social credit and social standing. in order to really kind of do other things here. So we operate in a different manner that we discuss in flag theory. But as the content cousins come together like the Avengers or Justice League or something like that, we really want to see if we can put information and content out where we can get that market share of, I don't want to talk to the 55-year-olds about Bitcoin. While it's important, right? And we do what we can, I think that our idea is we want to talk to the young people who are going to use it. The future, it's for them. They're going to live in a world where Bitcoin is a thing and not this conceptual idea that you can't really wrap around your mind because you don't know how to send a text message.
And so, and just for that, she rides it around and saying we're gonna be Marvel Universe.
You know, y'all just get the idea of what I'm trying to put together, right? The superstars getting together, the kids call it mashup, because that's what their shows do. Yeah. But like,
well, I just want to say I'm going to be Thor.
Oh God, because of Thor's arms. Y'all don't listen to him. Okay?
I've been working out. I got Thor arms. Come on,
don't listen to him.
I'll probably be Spider-Man.
What was Ryan Reynolds' name?
Oh, he was the other dude.
What was Ryan Reynolds' character? Not
Deadpool.
Doomsday. It was something.
No, it was the dude with the.
It was what? Deadpool. Jake Fever. Deadpool. He gonna troll the entire time we're putting this thing together.
I'm going to be Thor, and then somebody could be Tony Stark. But then
that'd probably be Rue.
Yeah.
Well, probably be Tony Stark. He's real techy. Yeah, that's why he want to be Thor, because all the girls be like, look at his arms. Anyway, y'all.
Anyway.
But we want to build, and Black people, you ever notice that whenever we come together, they find a way to scatter us, right? They'll take out the head. There is no head, right? And I know I sound crazy right now, but y'all just follow with me. There is no head, so you can't just take one person out and the thing die.
Decentralized, that's right.
But where we come together like a fortified community, there is no, whatever the reasons Black people fall out, we're not in competition with one another. We all have our strengths, our weaknesses. Simon and I are used to working as a team, leveraging strength against weakness. And then we could just put like the whole content cousin situation together for real, and really establish a community for Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin, crypto, and the technologies that go along with it. Let me do that, right? Because not everybody's a Bitcoin maxi like we are. But to fortify that educational aspect, to push adoption, to push implementation, to understand the financial aspects like on your end. Like get your shit together over here, and then like hubby, real market guy, now I can start talking to you about gains. I can talk to you about mitigating losses. I can talk to you about the volatility market, that kind of thing. But just putting all the pieces together like a Voltron or Megatron or Transformer kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I'm not high, y'all. I don't smoke. But I have this vision in my mind and I want to birth it, but I need everybody's help in order to birth it.
That's right. Yeah, and I mean, you said that you don't want to step on my toes or anything like that. People forget that there's a McDonald's and then right next to is Burger King. Like there's more than enough out here, and I don't believe in that scarcity mindset. So anything I can do to help you out with you guys, educate, because you're gonna reach and you're gonna appeal to a different type of audience, and I'm gonna be able to reach
exactly. And that's the leveraging, right?
Exactly. So we got, like you said, and come together and collectively we share that information and everybody can, advance forward. So yeah, anything I can do, I would love to teach the kids, I think we teach our kids and then the kids should be able to teach the kids, right? And also, the rappers, so I make music too. I don't know if you guys know that.
Oh, okay. Jump Out Girls be making music. You got to get with them.
I love Jump Out.
What are they, Death Row or Gentlemen of Crypto?
I love
That's what they say.
Black girls. So I make music and whatnot, and so with that comes a lot of influence and a lot of younger kids. They attract to me. So I definitely want to help the kids out as well. I don't really care about helping the older folks as well, but to be honest with you, a lot of the older folks are attracted to me as well, because back when I was on Clubhouse, a lot of the people that would message me and, contact me would say, or older people, older women, and they would say, hey, I sold my real estate. I just liquidated a few houses and I bought some Bitcoin thanks to you. I have these messages from, so I don't want to limit myself to just younger
And
children.
we're never discarding any
Exactly.
area, any demographic, any age group, any race, gender. We're not doing that. I'm just saying that, because we have our I call them my little old ladies, right? And they got it because they want it.
It's all right.
What I'm not going to do is I'm not here to persuade anyone to do it. I'm not here to talk you into it. I am not a salesman. I don't do sales. I don't sell Bitcoin. So if you buy it, you buy it. If you don't, that means there's more for us because it is scarcity.
Yeah.
There is a competition for it. But I was just saying, like, I would like if we could definitely have something in place, a push for the younger generation. When I say younger, I even mean like some of the 30-year-olds, right? The up and coming, they're just now getting their breath at their job. They're just now getting the salary that they want to be commanding. The salary that they're commanding, you're just looking at me real intense. And, I just would like to see a stronger push in the Black community. One of the reasons why we were really attracted to the Gentleman of Crypto channel is I remember the first time we saw Zay, we were like, holy shit, there's a Black dude who's involved in it now. Because we didn't see that before.
Yeah, I've seen it. I was.
And then we found this channel and it's like, oh, it's two of them. And then 2 turns into 4, 4 turns into 6, and so on and so forth. So I'm just now seeing solid, legit, vetted Black folk coming together and making the Bitcoin and the issues surrounding it a priority.
I was with Swan, so I used to rock with Swan back in the day, and I rock with Swan, and I try to, and a lot of spaces, like you guys were saying, there's a lot of it's just like all people, and I was like the only Black person like helping, like repping for Swan. But I agree 100%. Like the more that we can show people like us, the more attract people like us. And again, we're the people that need it the most, right? We're the most discriminated against. We had the most done to us, and there's some reason we don't. Majority of us don't want to pay attention to it, but I think if we just lead by, then we'll be able to influence the masses.
And 2, Simon and our thing was really the family approach. Because you guys hear me all the time complain that the space feels very single. As a mom, am I missing areas? As a dad, as a husband, as a wife, should we be like, oh, we didn't think about doing that, for the grandbaby. We don't have grandchildren yet. But everything we do starts there. Because we could take care of our children in our lifetime. They need the head start.
Yeah.
And we surely could have used it. Y'all know we got married very young. I was 20 years old when I got married to Simon. So we had to really pull ourselves up by bootstraps. We kind of sort of didn't have, even though I grew up on Long Island and stuff, I didn't like asking daddy for money. That's not my personality. If he saw like, y'all okay? We're fine, right? I was stubborn like that. But Simon and I, when we got together, one of the things that we promised one another was we are going to build this thing together.
Yes. And just for the record, for anybody who may be watching or not, we did get married very young. Did I say that right? And she was chasing me heavy.
Y'all don't listen to him.
Down on me heavy.
Don't listen to him. Jay Fever, you see what I got to deal with? Chris, you know what? When you do Bible studies, you pray for me.
Yeah, I pray.
Lord, give her the energy and the strength.
Amen.
To deal with the mate you gave her.
I said, dang, man, you
Guys,
put
to the
you
prayers.
down on me so hard. I said, yeah.
Jay Fever said we bad boys for life, but low key right now till the Diddy issues die down.
Oh, yeah,
Jay, I need Jay on the show.
Hey,
for
come on, Jay,
the comedic aspect. He is hilarious.
We gotta do one.
And we miss seeing the bar, Jake. So, I mean, every now and then, just
Come
go
on,
live.
Jake, man, get on the show so we can get there.
Crit Work said they would like to do a segment to review and rate cold storage wallets and even hot wallets. And I would like Cripwork to email me immediately.
And-
So that if you're an SME in that area, we absolutely want you to get on, so that we can.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Most
Content cousins, this is what we do. We get together, we network, and we share information.
definitely.
And just because we know how to, because sometimes we talk and it's like if you're an expert in something or you're knowledgeable in certain areas, I mean everybody else is. So it's good to hot wallets, cold wallets, those same questions, right? Some people are just now tuning in, right? So they don't even know the difference between a hot wallet and a cold wallet. So
Right.
you got to take it easy sometimes. PFC Wells, I see you. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody in the chat.
That's Trek with 2Ks. Don't be confused.
Oh yeah, I'm getting
We shouted you out, Trek, when we were doing the Aquarian discussion, because Bitcoin Chris Aquarius like us. So
Oh yeah, we all across the board.
that's my dude, Trek with 2Ks. He be slipping in the jokes on the low.
Who's that?
I wonder if he talking about you or Chris. So he'll write.
I'm about
Jake he probably talking about Jake Fever. Yo, he be having the zingers.
He got jokes, so we gotta get more, man, so we can just go back and forth.
Okay, so Jake's been going live every Friday. Did we get shadow banned?
Maybe.
Jake, I've never missed your show before. I used to get the notifications. I don't get them.
Chat real quick, see if I can see you guys on the YouTube.
That's great.
Yeah, that's nuts. Because I always watch Jake at the bar. So I'm going to be like, Jake on. Big ass bottle of Henny.
Jake, let me ask you. I don't know when you've seen, as far as when you got into Bitcoin, I don't know what your profession is.
Well, he does the consultations is what he was
Well, I know he does it now, but I'm saying.
Oh, when he got into Bitcoin, what were you doing?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
what were you doing?
When I first started, when I first discovered Bitcoin, I was working at Hilton. I actually was in sales. I'm really good at sales.
Okay.
You can sell it then. I can't.
Yeah, I'm not here to sell anybody Bitcoin. You either get it or you don't.
That's my sentiment exactly. I'm not a salesperson. You tell me no, I'll walk away.
The more you don't buy, the more I can buy. So if anything, I can only lead a horse to water, can't make him drink. But I was working at Hilton. I worked at a call center, and selling vacation packages. Making some good money doing that. And I saw Bitcoin, and it was like $800, $500, $1,000. I was like, there's no way. I call Bitcoin a stock. I was like, I'm not buying this stock for $1,000. And then that very same year, or the very next year, Bitcoin went from $1,000 to $20,000, and I was like, okay, this is not just a stock. I learned more about it. I was actually buying the altcoins. I was buying Tron. I bought a bunch of different. I was buying Bitcoin Cash. I didn't know the difference between any of these coins back then. I just saw a number go up, so I was like, all right, I turned like $100 into $800 with Tron. I thought I was doing something. He
bought our iMac with Doge, if that paints a picture for you.
Doge?
Yes. So my MacBook Air, something was going on with the battery, and we have to go all the way to Mexico City to the Apple store in order to get it fixed. So, we run two businesses, and I work a full-time job, for real.
This when Doge was creeping up on like 60 cents.
Yeah.
Like that.
So hubby comes home, and I'm like crying. He said, what happened? He thought something happened to the kids. I said, my MacBook died. He said, you just need a new computer? I was like, yeah. He said, all right, 10 minutes. So we get to the thing. We had, was it Robinhood card that we used?
Yeah, that was Doge and Robinhood.
I said, what are you buying the iMac with? He was like, Doge.
And I got the card. I bought Doge way down low. I'm like, all right.
Right, because I'm like, that ain't our debit card. Where are you buying it with? He's like, Doge.
Doge.
I thank God for that.
Yeah. And I tell people too, like I'm a Bitcoin maxi, but I also believe that people should do what they want, right? If you want to buy an altcoin and buy a rug pull, sometimes you get rug pull. Sometimes you'll make some money. Use that money. I trade to buy more Bitcoin. I don't really trade for US dollars. I trade to buy more Bitcoin. So I only trade Bitcoin right now. I don't really like trading the altcoins because they're so volatile. But I have a baby bag. I tell everybody on my YouTube channel, I say, hey, if you guys are going to trade, I don't even recommend you trade. I recommend that you stack your Bitcoin. If you are going to trade, have a separate bag baby bag that if you liquidate yourself, because you're supposed to set, stop losses so you don't liquidate yourself. But people don't listen to me anyway. They're gonna do what they do, right? So I just,
That's what they gonna do.
yep, I give them my POV of things, and if you make money with Bitcoin or with altcoins, take that money and buy some more Bitcoin is what I recommend people do. But they're gonna do what they want to do.
Are you a fan of precious metals? Because we talk about that. I mean, I love precious metals. I got
He gonna gold pill you.
yeah.
I actually thank you, baby. I actually like titanium and platinum.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't gold because I always talk. I actually talk so much crap about gold and silver, and just because of the ROI standpoint, I understand that they're precious metals, they're useful in different applications. But as far as the ROI standpoint, I don't tell anybody to dive into those things when you can compare it to a Bitcoin ROI. It's like why would you invest into a superior inferior? You can invest into a superior asset. So it's good to diversify, but in my opinion, depending on your allocation to those assets, I don't recommend anybody buy altcoins or alternative assets like real estate or stocks. I really talk crap about them all the time.
Oh, I hate real property.
And
I talk about Bitcoin and cyberspace every day of the week because
Yeah.
real property is such a liability.
and I just seen today that the gold had reached an all-time high, I guess so. And then something like that, if you were a gold investor, then you will run those profits into Bitcoin. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, if I were to do that,
Yeah.
if you already have invested into gold,
hmm
I would say, hey, diversify your profits, or just I would say liquidate your gold
Yeah.
to Bitcoin, period, because again, I just know what Bitcoin's going to do in the future. However, if you're going to allocate a small percentage of your portfolio to gold and silver, that's different, But I think a lot of the investment advice that we hear from people, or recommendations that we hear from people are, hey, 1% of your net worth should be in a 1%. Like what? Like we're
Yeah. When I hear that, I'm like, oh man, this will be going 1%.
and this Jeff Booth comes into play. We're pricing Bitcoin on a trash fiat currency that's going to die. So it's really irrelevant the price of Bitcoin in dollars because it's going to continue to rise forever. It's literally going to go up forever because of the way that it's programmed. It's math. So a lot of people don't understand that. So since I do understand that, and I do understand what's coming in the future, and I do understand that they're going to print trillions of more, like the more that we're in debt and the more that they keep this crazy financial policies that they have and the spending that we do in the U.S. Why do we pay taxes if they can just print $1 trillion? It's slavery, right? So if you understand that, then you should opt out of the entire system. You should Bitcoin at all in U.S. dollar. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin, and life gets cheaper when life is just a lot better and it gets cheaper in Bitcoin. And if you want to, you can use it as a barometer to see how bad the market is going to get. But because I know they're going to have to, because of the way, how much debt that we're under there, they have to print exponentially more money to try to alleviate what they're doing. So it's just, it's a debt spiral that's going to continue to happen. And Bitcoin is just really showing you how bad it's going to get.
Yeah.
So when you get to well, I'm sorry, I didn't want to do a hard pivot.
No, baby. No, I was listening to you.
Because I was going to talk about El Salvador, these other places, Bitcoin Beach, Bitcoin Jungle, Bitcoin what?
We're gonna call it Bitcoin Latin America.
Yeah.
That way we can cover everything.
As they go through there, what do you see about that? I didn't know if you were like investing abroad, looking to move abroad.
The volcanic,
planting flags.
the volcanic bonds, right? Because that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I actually, like I said, Max and Stacy are the reason why I am such a maximalist and why I'm even into Bitcoin at all. Because again, when Bitcoin went from 20,000 to 3,000, I kind of lost interest in it. But then I started to watch Max and Stacy on the Kaiser Report. I watched them every episode. I was on it.
Did.
I learned so
Every episode. And Stacy puts together the best themes. Remember how she had a theme for
so
I was so disappointed
yeah, that they took it
when I guess they got yanked off because of the conflict.
of Russia. And I don't think Russia is bad, because of what they're like. US be spinning. US is the worst country on the planet, and they over here calling Russia bad. I'm not saying that the war is right. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying you can't listen to anything that the US says. Our government lies to us about everything, and then you expect them to tell us the truth about Russia. In my opinion, I don't really know, but I don't think they're telling us the complete truth with Russia and Ukraine, and that's really none of our business, right? We shouldn't be. That's none of our business, in my opinion. But I think I definitely want to move abroad. I want to move probably to El Salvador. I've always wanted to move to Mexico. I love Mexico. I love Playa del Carmen. I was going to get an Airbnb out there.
Yeah.
Have a place so I can go out there and just chill. I love the beach. I love the weather. They treat me like a king out there.
Yes, they treat us very well here. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I can live like a king. I don't have to slave as much as I pay so many bills here, and if I took there, I can live on
Zero debt. I'm telling you, we've been here 6 years, 7 years.
7 years.
7 years, zero debt. Children don't have a scarce mindset because when you let them do they think we trillionaires, right? The way they be asking for stuff. But my husband's goal, his vision was, Aaron, I want to do this for real, right? Like Jake was saying in the comments, do it. I want us to invest 80% of the income that we generate and live off 20 lifestyle. And you're a woman, so I want to talk to you about it first. And I'm like, nah. If you say I can't have it, then we don't get it.
Yeah.
And that's how you gotta roll. We don't have Uber here. We don't have DoorDash.
First got on the when you guys first started the podcast, I remember you guys talking about that.
Okay.
I remember you guys having that conversation or telling us about the conversation that you guys had.
So we traded a lot of conveniences that people typically can't let go of. I haven't had my eyebrows done since I left the United States because there's nowhere for me to go get them done. I've just come to terms. Nobody trolls me in the chat about my eyebrows, so I've let it go. But for real, right? It's a very serious. I talked to him, and the feminists, if y'all cop in my email about what I'm about to say, I'm just gonna.
I do have to say, from the man standpoint, it's hard to find a crispy edge up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I already know. It's hard to get a crispy edge up, man, and you're like, oh man.
But when I have purchases, things that I want that I don't necessarily need, we sit down, we talk, we're a team, and this is the plan. Is this going to deviate from the plan? Sometimes he'd be like, baby, go on and get that. You want that? I'll get that for you, no problem. Other times he's like, well, let's talk about it. Do you need it now? Is it something that we need to have? And a lot of times it's like, what you're saying makes sense. I don't need that.
So if we're a team, we're a two-man team.
I'm Ghostface. That's Raekwon.
Well, see.
I'm Ghost. Sorry, Rue. I'm Ghost already.
Are we Jordan and Pippen? Are we Kobe? Are we Kobe and Shaq?
We could be Kobe and Shaq.
Can we Kobe and Derek Fisher?
And I don't want to be Derek Fisher. He's iffy off the court. His character and everything. We Ghost and Ray. Let's leave it at that. And we were Wu-Tang, we would be Ghost and Ray.
Can we Method Man and Red Man? But you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. We are a team.
But when I'm talking to the partnerships, right? You can't see it like control. And that's what the women he got too much control. And stop listening to that narrative that they are feeding you in order to get you to pay your bills and him to pay their bills instead of y'all just paying one bill. Y'all come together as one, right? Financial discipline comes with a bit of delayed gratification. So if I go to my husband and I say, I was looking at this installation, it's a bit pricey. We're gonna have he's not gonna be like, no, right? He's not gonna outright know me. We'll have a discussion about it. And in the discussion, most of the time, he'll just walk me to my own conclusion that financially, we can put this towards our goal. Like, you know what, you're right. We would buy 10 Bitcoin with this, right? So for the families, for the partnerships, when we talk about leveraging strengths against weaknesses, a lot of times it's listening with an open mind, right? If you know your husband's solid or your wife is solid and they have your absolute best intention in mind, if they tell you this is not a good idea, they're not trying to control you. Now, if you have issues with control, that's a whole different
Conversation. That's right.
right? That's you. You picked him,
Yeah.
right? You picked her, and
Yeah.
you knew that when y'all was dating. You've
Exactly.
been married for 23 years. So we have traded a lot of conveniences for a vision that ain't even really for us, it's for our grandchildren.
Right. In the Bible, it says a good man leaves a inheritance for his children's children. So
Yes.
Good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. That is biblical. That's Proverbs. You go.
And I seen that, and when I went down your excuse me, your Twitter feed, I said, oh yeah, he's big on the
Yeah, I'm
Bible. We big
heavy
on the Bible.
into
She's
it.
heavy on
Yeah,
the Bible.
heavy.
That's her thing. So
First thing in the morning, last thing at night. We
Yeah,
go
she
into that
teaches- she
Bible. He
teaches
prays
it
with me. He
very
prays
well.
for me. He prays over me.
that's definitely Jesus definitely helped me out. So I gotta I gotta give him praise. But I same thing with my girl. Right? Just this Christmas, right? My girl loves to she loves to I don't really care for Christmas, right? Every day is Christmas. I get you a gift, whatever. I splurge on it. I don't even. I'm the financially responsible one, right? In the house, right? My girl, she just wanted to go all out for Christmas. I said, babe,
He say that too.
you gotta chill. And she listened, right? And she's so glad that she did. And we invested in Bitcoin, and she sees the vision now. But like you said, it's a partnership. I didn't just tell her, right? We have to have that conversation. We have to say, hey, okay, babe, is it really worth it? No, kid, these kids ain't gonna play with these toys, a couple days after Christmas. Like, come on. The best gift for the kids is Bitcoin, in my opinion. And I sent them some Bitcoin, and in the future it will grow. So again, I think it's delayed gratification, something that a lot of us miss. And then you just talked about, man, the feminism and the women, the independent
The
women.
narrative, and
Oh,
it's hurting us more than anything else.
it is crazy to see all this online. And I think it's really, I don't see that with a lot of other communities. It's really just
I
the
don't
black.
see that with no other community.
Yeah, it's like the black community. And I think it's targeted that way and it's delivered that. I think it's done on purpose to keep the family unit separated, which they've done a good job at. And they're going to do whatever they can. But it just shows that I think they are so scared of the collective unit of our people that they are doing any and everything to make sure that we do not stick together as a family unit. And it doesn't matter if you're black or white, but I know it's specifically targeted towards
Us.
the black.
Like, you look at our music, we have the worst music of any genre nowadays.
And people were mad at Kanye. Kanye said, how come the Jewish people don't?" And my ex-girlfriend's Jewish, so I don't care. I don't care about any of that. He said, "How come there's not any Jewish rapper saying kill a
Right,
kill a?"
right.
But when it comes to our culture, we can say, "I'm gonna kill murder murder murder," and he said that's the real anti. I agree with him, and it's true and it's facts. And I say that as well. And that's the music I make it's not like I don't make that kill destructive low vibrational music. It's a new genre. It's like it's so dope. I'll share my link and let you guys listen to some of my music.
Oh,
But
definitely. And hit me up on Facebook. A lot of people don't use Facebook. We're like old young people. So
I'm on
we
Facebook.
tend to do stuff like old people and young people at the same time.
By the way,
So,
if you have music, I have bars.
no,
So if
no,
you need like a
no.
little,
He does
if you need a
not.
feature,
Bars, bro.
I'm there. I got bars now.
All right,
Come
so
on now. You know I got
No,
bars.
no.
got you on the next track. All right.
No. Like Destiny's Child. No. Okay, like no. But I do want to say when we talk about the rappers who do have influence,
Yes.
don't you find it interesting that not one of y'all rich Negroes
Okay.
do Bitcoin? Now Nas, right? In what was the song?
What was the song with
It was
Khaled and Jay Z where
Yeah.
he said
One song.
cryptocurrency
he's
Scarface.
Scarface, right?
Yeah.
He just kind of lightweight mentioned it, and then we
Well,
never heard any other rapper say nothing
there
about
was
it
one.
again.
They killed him. It's Nipsey.
Yeah, Nipsey was he was into. I forgot.
Okay. So they got scared and that was okay.
So
Okay.
anytime
I didn't put that two and two together at all.
Yeah, he was into it too.
that we have like a leader or someone that is on the edge of changing or having that much influence to change the the destructive path that our culture is on, they kill him. But okay, Nipsey, or the brainwashing. I'm very familiar with the music industry and what you have to do to get into those positions of power. A lot of people are ignorant to this fact, but a lot of people don't know that you know Lucifer, which is Satan was Lucifer. Lucifer was the angel, and he was the angel. He was a beautiful angel. Everybody thinks Satan's an ugly creature. He's a beautiful creature. He was made out of diamonds, topaz, all these beautiful gemstones, right? And he was the prince of music. So that's why when you break it down and you see that, okay, why is the music so destructive? It's because he's in control of the music, in the music from the spiritual realm, physical realm, and life is. And I don't like to, I like to talk about it. A lot of people just want to ignore these things, but life is spiritual. And when it comes to the music, that's why the music industry is the way it is, because Satan has that power.
That's his wheelhouse. I tell Simon that all the time.
Mhm.
Entertainment really is his wheelhouse.
Absolutely.
And you notice that those are the most highest paid
Hmm.
areas. Even we got a chance to talk to New Williams. He's kind of mentoring our 16-year-old, because our 16-year-old is real good and he's thinking about playing overseas. And he made that comment, and I said, wow. When they were talking about social media and how important social media is for their branding, he said, you always want to remember that sports is entertainment.
Hmm.
And I said,
Oh,
because we always separate it. We say sports or entertainment. He
yeah,
said, no,
sports is entertainment.
sports is entertainment. You never
I
forget
know.
that. Understand how to brand and yada, yada, yada. But they don't talk about it either. And the time that they did have something to do with it, they all were associated with the FTX rug pull situation. What did they say? I didn't know nothing about it. They asked me to be on here. That was Shaq. That was Tom Brady. That was Giselle. No, not the FTX thing. I'm saying when the athletes talk about cryptocurrency, um, it's always associated with something janky. The only solid thing I ever heard, was it Odell Beckham who's getting paid in Bitcoin?
No, so Odell Beckham and Russell Okung.
Russell Okung, I remember it was the O.
Yeah, they got some of their NFL
The
salary.
article came out, we never heard nothing else.
Yeah, NFL salary in Bitcoin.
Yeah, they're gonna snuff it out. I was just saying that a lot of our like we can memorize, like we know all the stats to LeBron James. Twitter about LeBron James and how much Steph Curry shot this night, and they'll memorize all these stats, but you don't know what an ROI is. You don't know what Bitcoin is. You don't know what your credit score is. I say these things all the time on my Twitter. It's like we're so backwards as a culture, but we're here to change the paradigm, and all we got to continue to do what we do. Jake said, "Ain't no diamonds or music in heaven, bro."
I was just answering him.
Hey, bro, be quiet, bro. Okay.
Isaiah. He's saying no diamonds or music in heaven. Read Isaiah, Ezekiel. No, read Ezekiel.
That's right. The streets are gold in heaven, my boy. Get it right.
Mm-hmm. And the new city. But the new city's going to be on earth, so it's kind of. But in Exodus, right? I want to say Exodus 19.
Okay.
Y'all may have to fact check me. It's either Exodus 19 or Exodus 23. God himself came down to sit with the children of Israel. And they tell you that the sky rolled out like sapphire. And the children of Israel sat, they ate. God was finally dwelling with the people. It was the first and last time you saw that. And then like right after they, I think, ate Abidu and they gave a strange offering and they ruined all of that. But absolutely, everything on earth is a shadow of the things of heaven. So heaven is the more vivid picture. God uses earth as a physical, tangible thing to explain to you things of a spiritual nature. Even the marriage between husband and wife is the marriage of Christ and us, right? You got to stick through it through thick and thin, so on and so forth. So this ain't Bible study, but I did want to just clarify that because
I always,
heaven absolutely has everything.
that's right. I always compare, um, not compare, but I see the similarities of Bitcoin and altcoins, right? Because I have friends that are, I used to want to be Muslim back when I was younger because I saw how my friends were Muslim. They were like, I just saw how they prayed, and I didn't really understand it, and I went through a lot. I went through a lot of it, and I come to a realization that and I've done my research, and I've come to the understanding, and everybody will, you can agree or disagree, whatever. I believe that Jesus is King of King, Lord of Lords, like it says in the Bible, and I can see like the similarities between Bitcoin and God or Jesus, right? Because there's only one way, right? Only one way, that I am the way, the truth, and the light. That's God, right? And the only way that you're going to be able to beat this system, right, is with Bitcoin. There's tons of little G gods, right? Where there's demons and all these other little gods and false
The
gods.
altcoins.
Yeah. And then there's all these other altcoins, right? Everybody hates on Jesus. They talk so much crap about Jesus and God in the Bible. Everybody talks so much crap about Bitcoin. It's like, these are the so similar. So when I look at it that way, I'm like, Bitcoin is definitely the chosen one. And like you said, this isn't Bible study, but I just find it I actually am gonna do a lot.
I'm gonna take it. I want to take it there because you mentioned, because I went through that same phase, wanting to be a Nation of Islam and a Muslim and all that. So when yeah, no, but I'm just saying, um, with the Quran, or do you still use that as a book that you use, or is it strictly Bible, the book of what's called?
The Bible?
I see.
Say that again.
I follow this dude that like annihilates all, like he'll have the Muslims come on his live stream, and he knows the Bible like that.
I showed him that guy.
Oh,
He's a
okay.
great apologetic.
Yeah, you know exactly
Yeah.
what I'm
So
talking
that's
about.
the Muslim guy, but then there's another guy named Cliff, and
Okay.
he's on the college campus. He's great at apologetics. He can answer any question off the top of his dome. But I remember one night, Simon was sitting up. He often sits up in the middle of the night. That's when he thinks, because the house is quiet. Kids ain't running around, bouncing basketballs and stuff. And I remember he was just kind of talking to me about some of the characteristics of Bitcoin, one of them being immutability. And I sat up. I said, "Did you say it's immutable?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "That's an attribute of God."
Yeah.
And he was like, so we ended up doing a show called Bitcoin and Zero, and we kind of just talked about the divinity aspect of Bitcoin. It's very Aquarian, right? My Aquarians understand what that means. But the intrinsic value of freedom, or if you wanted to lean towards a more religious aspect of it, salvation, right, is there.
And
It's absolutely there.
and so as I just wanted to finish off the question. So I know you're familiar with Max Kaiser. Max Kaiser will often say that Bitcoin wasn't invented; it was discovered. It already existed the whole time, and somebody just discovered it. What do you think about that?
I think that's an accurate description of it. I think it was discovered because you have to remember, they had cryptography back in the 90s, back in the 80s. They already
Yeah.
had all the technology to do this stuff. They just had to piece it together correctly, and for it to be, for it to be what it is now, to manifest what it is now. Bitcoin is a discovery. I think it's both. Bitcoin is a discovery and an invention, right? I think it's both, to be honest with you. But I agree with Max. I think it was discovered because we had all those pieces already. It just had to be put together.
And Max also tells you that when this is all ended and everybody's where they're supposed to be, whether it's judgment or the new kingdom or whatever, Bitcoin will still be
It will
here.
still exist.
It will still exist.
And God is for now and forevermore. That's
The
right.
Alpha and Omega, the first and the last.
There we
So
go.
it has a lot of
There's so many similarities.
aspects to it that money doesn't.
Yeah.
Right.
And not fiat. I mean, even sound money doesn't.
I don't think so. And I was so let me ask you a question because we go back and forth with people on this.
Let's go.
Bitcoin being gold 2.0.
It is. It's digital gold.
That's what we said.
It's
Some people heavily disagree. They don't like that at all.
Yeah, they
Let's
gonna
go
fight.
2.0.
Ridiculous. And I try to tell them just on a simplistic standpoint, when fiat was on the standard, right, the gold would account for all of the dollars. And Bitcoin is absolutely going to do that, right? If not already, how we're watching it. And one of the reasons why they wanted to take it off the standard is because they didn't want the gold to account for the dollars. They wanted to be able to print as many dollars as they could. Obviously, the people who sit closest to the printer, what do they call them? There's a name for that.
Cantillionaires.
Cantillionaires, right? So the cantillionaires obviously benefit the best. But we often have that. We absolutely agree that Bitcoin is gold 2.0. So we make sure we got the analog and digital, right? Just like you may have a nice timepiece watch and you got your smartwatch, right? They both have utility. So
Just
That's perfect. And what she said was perfect. You know, they have it was Aristotle who postulated the rules of what money was, right? And I'm sure you
the components of sound money.
sound money, and so, but as people talk about it, they say Bitcoin is better in every link, the visibility, portability.
It
all that stuff.
optimizes it in every way, just like your phone optimized the calculator, it optimized word processing, it optimizes, I mean, you can go on and on and on about how your smartphone, your supercomputer in your pocket optimizes everything, or your laptop with the M1 processor and all of that other stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, the smart car has yet to optimize every area of the, the gas guzzler, but just understanding that Bitcoin is the optimal sound money. It is the sound money. It has ultimate scarcity. It's, like we said, it's the best in every single one of those. The visibility, right? Because it's down to 100 million sats. Whereas, with the dollar, it's down, and it's not sound money at all. But even with silver, right, it's troy ounces, and whatever the troy ounce is worth at the time with the market fluctuating, where Bitcoin is even more divisible than that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wanted to say that two things is that so I think God is smart, like God is all knowing, right? So he knew, I think, like Max, God sent us Bitcoin because he knows that we're going into the digital age, and in order for us to have that freedom and for us to get out of this, because the US dollar, everything's on the back of the dollar. The New World, they have the pyramid, the all-seeing eye. That's the sign of Lucifer. Everything is, they tell you everything in plain sight, and people still disregard it. So they have all-seeing eye on the back of the dollar. It says New World Order on the back of the dollar. Yeah. They steal from us. They lie to us, right? The whole system that we're in is Lucifer's system. This is not Lucifer, it's Satan's system. This is the devil's system, the devil's playground. He knew that. God knew that. So he's like, all right, what can I do to get my people out of this system? And Bitcoin was born in my opinion. So that's because you have fiat, which is the demonic, devil money, because people kill for a piece of paper now, right?
Yeah.
Like, people kill for the piece of paper. And like you said, gold was the way that we were operating before that. So gold was the standard pre-internet, right? And then now
the promissory note is counterfeit.
Exactly.
And biblically, gold is divinity. It's always symbolizes divinity. Somebody had a dream about gold. When something is laden in gold, for those of you who've ever studied the Ark of the Covenant, studied the original temple, studied the second temple, studied Herod's temple, gold represents eternity. It represents the foreverness of God.
God's money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, gold is really God's money. So you also, for those of you who deep dive, when Christ was betrayed for the gold talents, which Isaiah prophesizes.
Was it silver or was it gold?
It was silver. I'm sorry, I meant to say silver talents.
Okay.
You can see the diametrical opposition in what betrayed him versus what God considers to be his money. So, and I tell people all the time, like, when people hear the story of the 10 talents and stuff like that, they think it's like a troy ounce. I said, no, talent is 75 pounds of silver. So when you're doing your Bible study, you really want to like get the geography down, get the language down, get the measurements down, understand why, you know, when Moses built the ark, when Noah built the ark, God gave him in a specific measurement. And they were like, well, that doesn't make sense for the measurement that they used in that day. And it's just like, yeah, well, it's funny because the Egyptians did use that measurement. So that's why it matches on an Egyptian scale.
And Bitcoin is the ark. We say that all. Bitcoin is the ark. You can.
It's the ark. That's why I brought it up too. I was trying to round about to that. It is that mode of salvation, right? And we always talk about the intrinsic value. That's just my way of just talking to people who may not be into the Bible. The intrinsic value of freedom is the life-changing part of Bitcoin, right? Because we know that when you work for $1, and all of us, you know, it has its utility. You have bills to pay, you have children to feed, et cetera, et cetera. You understand how it is siphoning off your economic energy, your physical energy, your spiritual energy, your emotional energy. And it's almost like the archons feed off of that or something, which is why they do it. So, you know, we often talk about Bitcoin and time theft.
Time theft. I'm big on time theft. I keep saying I'm gonna do a show on time theft. I haven't done it yet.
Gotta do it.
But I would love to do a show on time theft.
We'll bring on the flood. Jake ready.
I heard from Robert Breedlove way back. I said, man, he did a show on time theft, and I said, man, that's some real shit. And then when I started looking into it, I said, oh yeah, I see what he's saying. You know, just siphoning off your you know, your energy and stuff like that. Now we did the show on, you know, the fourth
What show?
space time.
We did what?
It's fourth dimension space time.
Oh, space time, the fourth
And just
dimension.
talking about locking away your energy that you use to earn money and to unlock it. And it was kind of like, you know, talking about potential energy, kinetic energy. We try to do all that.
The scientific aspect.
Yeah.
If that was a more relatable way for somebody to understand its intrinsic values. And then, you know, we go heavy into the spiritual aspect of it. Because that's just how we run the family. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord.
Amen.
So, you know, Rue was on here, and y'all don't know how my heart broke that I missed, of all of the conversations, I missed that one. But Sean was like, Mom, Rue, get back on there. It's going to be the three of us. If we got to squeeze into the frame, that's what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because Sean's heavy into it. And we do.
Is Rue on here now?
Yeah, he just said, y'all right up my alley. Talking about time theft, archons, the all-seeing eye. You know, I talk about the Empire City.
Oh, boy.
So, you know, DC being the military arm, the Vatican, and Rome being the spiritual arm, and London being the economic arm. Because
and they all, and it's crazy because Switzerland, like if you look at the coordinates of Switzerland, that's where CERN is. CERN is 666, and they trying to open up portals.
But it's right in the city of Antipas. Did you notice that?
Huh?
It's right where Satan's seat is, and
that's what I'm saying. That's
where
what
Antipas was killed.
So let me ask you a question. I don't mean to cut your wisdom or nothing. Just today, I read this article that CERN is going to get 20 billion euros to, what were they going to do?
Blast a hole in the hell and bring everything out. But they said it in a scientific way to breach other dimensions.
They told us in the Bible what's going to happen.
Yeah. And I think that's how the man who was, who isn't, but who will be, that's how he's going to come back, for sure. But two, when I talk about the Empire City, you know, Prince Charles is heading that, King Charles, I'm sorry.
King of the world.
He's king of the universe.
That's what he told us. That's what he told us.
He's heading the World Economic Forum. Now, I know Klaus Schwab, that's his thing, but King Charles is his, I'm going to call it his, in Spanish, it would be compañero. What would it be in English?
His companion? What do you say?
Not his companion, not a co-worker, but like, they working together.
Yeah, they working
right?
together.
They in cahoots. He said, in the third person, he has $61 trillion
Under management.
under management. And it said, do you have that under management? Who is he? But we all know who he is, and he showed his hand.
He's speaking to the line. They tell us They tell us when people just don't pay attention. They telling us.
Yeah. So, but he was doing the I. I've been doing this since 1951, I think he said, and I this and I that and I the third and so on and so forth. And then he said, and it's no, we can get everything done because he has $61 trillion in assets under management for our use. And when somebody's that rich, then you're gonna say the name, right? You'll say Bill Gates or this one or that one or the third, you know what I mean? And he didn't do that. And they're talking about the WEF is also there in Switzerland.
Yeah, the World Economic Forum, yeah.
But, lastly, the monetary policy that these world governments run under. And I used to tell people, I said, read Daniel 9, read Revelation 16, right? It's just like right there. I'm not asking you to read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, but just read these chapters and follow on so that you can understand what's happening today. Even Zechariah talks about, basically describes a nuclear bomb when he talks about their eyes are going to melt in their eye holes and their skin's going to melt from their bones before they hit the ground. You understand in Zechariah that he's prophesying nuclear war.
It's crazy that the Bible has predicted and so accurately, told us these things thousands of years ago, and they came true. The things that have
God's word is gonna stand.
We'll still sit here at the Bible.
He says, before one jot or one tittle passes away, his word is going to stand. And so that's why I tell people, if you believe in the Bible, if you believe in God or not, that doesn't mean that this thing isn't real and it doesn't exist. Right? You're like, I don't believe in that. You don't have to. Right? It's right here. And they said in the last 60 months, Chris, in the last 60 months, we have fulfilled over 362 biblical prophecies. That's more than in the last 2,000 years, just in the last 60 months. And just understanding that in 2030, when all of these things are supposed to come to a head, including the foreshadowing of Bitcoin having parity with the US dollar, that is exactly 2,000 years from when Christ started his ministry. And then we know in 2033, it'll be exactly 2,000 years when he was crucified, dead, buried, raised.
But I want to say that, the calendar that we're on is wrong as well.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be 13 months. Yep.
Exactly.
Not 12.
And
Sabbath's on the wrong day.
The new year isn't in January, it's in
March.
And yes, in March. And Jesus wasn't born in December, he was born in March. Or whenever Passover is for the Jewish people, that's when he was born. And so we're like,
I think that's September though. Yeah, I think that's September. Because we follow the Sabbath. We're trying to follow God said into perpetuity, so we switch that bad boy back. We do it on Saturday. So you see on Friday shows, we always say Shabbat Shalom.
Okay.
Because he said he wants that into perpetuity. That's what we're doing.
Absolutely.
But this was so great that we got to do it again.
Absolutely.
Right? We got to run all of y'all back. I definitely would like maybe a third show. This is his thing. I'll be taking it over. I ain't trying to take it over, right? This is his show. It's all his ideas, his show. But for you and Ruel and us to be on a show together, I think really deep dive.
We get the whole group together. That's what we're.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
but Trek is he's real tech. So, everybody got their caveats, but I'm just saying for a more spiritual deep dive, I would like to see Chris and Ruel in a room with us so we can really we can just introduce it. We can just go in and we will have this link on there if you need
That's right. And we can scroll through the Bible, read
yeah.
All right, that's what this says. We can do all that. Time doesn't exist.
Critwork said there's only 1 minute left on the atomic clock. You're right. We don't have that much time left. Jake Fever's giving us the time as a construct. It doesn't exist.
Come on, Jake, get on the thing, man. Come on, Jake.
But I'm glad he told me he's still on, Jay, because I think they shadow banned us. So as soon as we get off of here, I'm gonna go back on your page and make sure. I thought you weren't doing the show anymore. Definitely go back on there and make sure my bell and everything is hit, because we never missed shows before.
Yeah, earlier.
Ruel's down, so we're definitely gonna stick together. Before we leave, we just want to say thank y'all for joining us, staying in here. If you guys want to reach out to Bitcoin Chris, how can they reach you?
So first of all, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. It was such a great talk. It's been 2 hours. It doesn't even feel like it.
It doesn't. That's why I said we got to do it again, because we not finished, really.
It's 2 hours. I got to look at
Yeah,
the
2
time.
hours,
Wow.
154.
Like that. So thank you guys for having me on. You guys can follow me and find me at Chris Knight 407 on Twitter, aka X. I don't call it X, I call it Twitter. Chris Knight 407 on IG. I'm not really productive on. I don't really post too much on IG because I feel like IG is just. I'm too intelligent to just post pictures, so I have to express my thought via what I can in my.
Mm-hmm. I'm worried that it's too much for for the women. I ain't down to be showing everything and stuff to push the brand, so I don't push the IG either.
A bunch of Bible content. So if I go in there, I see Joyce, I see Myron, I see, I try to get all the Bible stuff on my feed. So that's the only reason why I go on there. Really.
On Instagram?
Yeah, I cleaned up.
No, I don't. I get mine on Facebook on the little reels and stuff.
Sign.
Okay, you guys. Chris, don't hop off yet. I
Okay.
just want to say goodbye to everybody. Crypt work, whatever your schedule is, Simon and I are happy to accommodate, so that we can put that segment together. We think it's important. And it's a question that people ask all the time, and we would prefer to have the SMEs answer those questions. Sometimes I feel like this is what we use, and that might be concerning the wallets, if you guys are tracking. Sometimes I feel like that's dismissive. This is what we use, this is what we looked into. But if we have an SME on the subject, crypt work, we would really like to do that segment with you. Email me when you're ready. We'll talk Saturday for sure. Dear Bit, I'm gonna check my email tonight to see if you gave me a time that works for you. And Rue will be in the emails chit-chatting, because I don't know, I think we talked to you on Twitter, because I definitely want to put something together with you and Chris. So I hope you guys have a great Monday evening.
Yeah.
Get those steps in, earn those free sats. If you're gonna walk anyway, if you're trying to look sexy for your husband because you feel like you're getting old and your birthday coming Saturday, earn them sats anyway, because you're gonna be walking. I'm not gonna let him upgrade me, y'all. We're gonna stay cute, fit, fresh, whatever I'm supposed to be.
Natural.
I ain't gonna let him upgrade me. And we're gonna check you. We'll be seeing you guys Wednesday at 7?
Maybe tomorrow. You said
No,
somebody.
not tomorrow. Tomorrow's our mentor class.
I thought you said somebody's coming on Tuesday, maybe. I don't know.
No. Wednesday.
Okay.
We have a consult tomorrow. We have our mentoring tomorrow.
Okay.
So definitely Wednesday at 7, y'all. Okay, Rue. I think I was talking to you on Twitter, so I'm gonna just keep whatever I was talking to you on. And we'll see y'all Wednesday at 7.